Experiences and lessons are always there for us to improve. There's a purpose for every experience. But spiritually mature, spiritually inclined black sheeps have a way of observing and understanding the information around them. This is how they shape their life. At the beginning, there was no choice but to learn these difficult lessons. So we understood even the very early education, the teachers, they spend a little bit of time with you, but when they realize that you're not taking it seriously, they have to let go of you and give the attention elsewhere where children are serious about getting programs and learn these experiences. But the black sheeps and the light workers, alchemists, these people interpret things in a very different ways. Maybe it's a purpose for our existence because we made a conscious decision to stay alive when very early on we realized we don't want to be here. We don't like this place, even though these magical beauty, the landscape, and all these things that is there for us, we can explore. There was this inherent a way of thinking like don't want to be here, but after a while, years later, you have made these conscious decisions to be here, and therefore there is a purpose. So then we have to navigate life with a higher understanding, higher observation, because our connection to our intuition is much stronger. But how do you interpret all that and navigate life in these divisive, dualistic political culture? It's also there so that we can choose ourselves. Instead of we have this dualistic political culture, we're constantly arguing and bickering who is doing it best and why you shouldn't do this and choose this. But the realistic observation for these dualistic political climate is that one party, they don't really care about any changes. They just want to maintain the status quo. So they don't like losing, because as ludicrous as it is, they want to maintain something. And this is uncreative, doesn't make any sense, not practical. Yet one group want to maintain the status quo and doesn't like any changes, and completely ignoring the fact that another group of people are struggling at best, continuously. And it is kind of if you interpret that into a nurse patient characters, this will be horrible if you are that horrible nurse, doing all these horrible things, exploit you financially, gives you the wrong information and the specialties, and constantly make you scared, constantly make you fearful and stressful. You're a horrible nurse, and as a patient, you have to you're a complete state of limbo. And this is the scenarios. But in the political climate, these people have left the doors open. The When one group working really hard to maintain the certain level of financial freedom, the other group is flushing it down the toilet. Same thing with the spiritual parts of our life. They're constantly making it fearful, stressful, and another group is actually going through these things. So one group is trying to maintain the easy way of life, although it's really not easy way of life. But it's there is no integrity there. They will do anything to maintain the status quo. The other group have no choice. But despite all these back and forth bickering about which party is best, we have to choose ourselves. Now, when we have so much the information overload, when we have to be wise and awakened enough to navigate life by choosing you, meaning there's this continuous arguments happening from the both side. The both parties have something important to offer, yet it's if you choose this one, we're going to lose this one. But what we have to keep in mind is that the top of the level, there is one group managing both sides. So then we have these intelligent observation, we have a responsible observation to withdraw from this and choose yourself. It's the time and energy that you don't have. You're struggling, you're stressed, you're completely you're in a complete stressful existence, and you have no relief in any way. Doesn't matter which party comes to power, your workload never decreases. In fact, it increases. The people are getting more sick. There's no health and relief there. The financial burdens are maximizing. So you're constantly in a scarcity, while others trying to maintain that level of superficial authority over this one group. There is hardly a balance, hardly anything to celebrate about. So the responsible thing for us to do is choose ourselves by understanding there's a deception, there is a level of like a bad boyfriends. When you go through relationship, friendships, and you continuously choose something bad for you, because you haven't shifted your focus, you haven't shifted your way of thinking. You're constantly in need for something like a misery loves company, but nothing good is going to come out of it because you haven't learned the lessons. So when we have these circumstances continuously perpetuating similar ideas, similar ways of deception, it is our personal responsibility to say, wait a minute, this is not working for me. Fine, you go and do what you have to do, but I don't need to participate in this level of deception, because I am shifting focus to myself and my own well-being. I am trying to prioritize the balanced style of life, clean up myself, and have a little bit of joyous experiences. This is how we navigate life, because especially last few years, we know they have came forward with their real agendas, and they're asking people the impossible. But regarding the self and the health and health treatments, the most unsuspecting people actually stood up for what they believe in. They prioritize their own well-being over employment, and it is most encouraging and surprising things that we have experienced. But nevertheless, it was there. We witnessed that, and some of us have chosen ourselves because it was asking the impossible. This is the end game, and these so-called parasitic entities, they're just nuisanceable existence. They don't know the boundaries. They don't know how to do a healthy balance. They just want to consume indefinitely, keep on consuming. Then you're just going to lose everything about your mind, body, and spirit, and the integrity of your vessel. We can't let that happen, because we are responsible, we are observant, we are intelligent species, and we have claimed our space. The natural selection, nature always chooses the occupants, because this is the way of our ecosystem. in order for us to do that, we have to be mind, body, and spirit, and we cannot just rely on a specialty because there's one specialist after another. But we have to be well informed about everything and well grounded, and have to be observant and awakened to every area of our life, especially when we are so complicated mind, body, and spirit, energetic vessel. We have a personal responsibility to maintain the integrity of this vessel. By following somebody else's idea of life, idea of choices, idea of politics, idea of health, idea of religion, it's never going to make you sustain life, because if we are not in control of our own mind, body, and spirit, somebody else is going to get a hold of that preciousness of our existence. And we cannot have that we cannot be that ignorant and give our powers away and not have consequences because of these poor decision makings. This is why when we know, for example, when we go into a new home or a new place, they are like subletting your home to a tenant. Then you don't really have any power over the structural changes. You can decorate it the way you want it, but you are not in charge of your that home. But if you have something you own, then you have that authority to make a little bit of changes in accordance with your likes and your desires. This is how our mind, body, spirit is. There is a creator. We need to have that direct connection to the creator by staying awakened, and have to navigate life with the informed understanding of how this system works. Empowerment position, instead of just floating around because somebody said I should do this, I should do that, therefore we are just going to follow, because it's so much easier to follow somebody else's idea than digging deep and discovering something that is meaningful and something substantial. This is how we navigate life in a dualistic system. Nothing personal, right? These are very entertaining circumstances, and everyone is doing a business model, delivering their why we choose. But there is time comes that we have to prioritize choosing ourselves. This is the goal, this is the purpose, right? The entertaining as it is, we have to make a judgment call, and we have to when we need a complete transformation, they are not seem to understanding that we're serious about it. We need a complete transformation. So, for example, if you have rats jumping the ship, they are always going to be rats. It doesn't matter the location. So just like that, when we are requesting, we are hoping for a complete transformation of the system, doesn't mean that it's possible, or maybe it's wishful thinking. But nevertheless, when we have these out of box understanding of system, and maybe we're perhaps going to end up in somewhere middle and more neutral instead of the extreme circumstances. This is how we navigate in a dualistic system, by choosing you. Thank you so much for the options, and I choose what is right, what is appropriate, what is going to minimize my engagement towards the destructive path, but I'm utilizing that time and energy to improve myself and empower myself. This is how the responsible spiritual mind, body, spirit being navigate life in a complicated systems. And you have to be observant and make a judgment call because it is our personal responsibility. Now, you hear about information is a really very large space. There is information overload for sure, but there is so much information, and we can get confused, especially if you're not in a connected to the source, your higher self. You can get, it's really daunting. So much information. How do we navigate? We like this, we like that, we like the other thing, but it's very possible for staying grounded and choose wisely. Choosing self is the most important thing. And this is how we change circumstances, because when we coming to this world, we are perfect the way we are because we are created by a creator. But instead of creating the system that is appropriate for us, we somehow got confused and distracted, and now we everyone thinks that we have to go out there and make ourselves appropriate for the system. But it should be that the system is appropriate for you to exist because you made the judgment call and you made a conscious decision to stay alive and go on with your life and observe things and create that higher self connection. And then you are making a conscious decision to stay. Then it is really important what is happening in our environment. Sometimes we hear people, we don't want to get involved with politics, we really don't care, we're just living our life and everything, which is what we did too. We have existed this way for many years. We had our opinions, we had our own judgment about things, but at some point a few years ago we had these decisions. The politics and the way the social structure is designed really do affect us. We are not excluded from these decision makings, and there was a time that we had to choose ourselves in accordance with our own understanding. It's not being difficult or being outcast by the social stands. It's just a personal responsibility. Without choosing ourselves, we can't really move forward. And these things are important factors when we are navigating life with a dualistic system. The choices are there for you to choose yourself, and it is very clear when we choosing ourself, our healthy self is also really important. When the social norm is to constantly scare people with the circumstances, for example, women and the menopause and all these things, they become a business transaction because you're really scared out of your mind and what is going to happen. But these are all natural circumstances in life, and there's no need to get the medical systems involved and pay unlimited time, mind, and empty scarcities. And instead of maintaining your healthy style of life, and you don't need to be scared of anything. The healthy mind, body, spirit is possible, but we have to be proactive and protect our mind, body, and spirit without abusing it physically, emotionally, spiritually. when we start abusing our divine vessel, is this is when we run into problems, because we're not addressing the concerns that should be addressed. And this is really important for the divine feminine. And when you are strong, when you're healthy, your mind is clear, your judgment calls are much better, and it supports your existence instead of scaring the daylight out of you because of somebody said so. We are plastic everywhere. We have all these things that we are doing to ourselves. It's a form of physical abuse to a divine vessel, and this is something that we need to address. And because we are constantly being told we're not good enough, we're aging, we're this, and we're disconnected position instead of being connected and thriving in your mind, body, and spirit vessel by healing yourself bit by bit. We're all the same. We have gone through this level of stress, and but we overcome somehow. And by understanding, when in your teenage life you're afraid to be seen without makeup or this persona because you don't like about yourself, but when you're taking the time to heal bit by bit, things become so easy and effortless. And this is how we move forward, because when we speak to so many different women, they know they have the easiest time with the transition and not so much complications. Meanwhile, the system always trying to scare you to follow some paths to destruction, and there is no way return. Being sick and stressed and scared is no way for life. It's not a joyous existence. It shouldn't be this way. So then we have a personal responsibility to protect our mind, body, and spirit by observing, understanding, and eliminating things that's not helping our existence.